Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum. Straight talk about you and your money. Now from the BizTalk studios, here is Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's Monday, April 21st, 2025, and we're talking fast because we got a lot to cover. In case you don't know, this is serious talk on everything that affects you. We'll do markets, the economy, your job, your industry, the markets imploding, Trump, tariffs. I don't think we need to cover anything else but that. And in case you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our Twitter feed, which is now X. And if you don't follow us, X, and you should. And if you'd like to email us, just be nice. And also, we'll post it on a bunch of podcast apps. First off, my father, who last Wednesday, the rabbi came into the hospital room. The doctor, when I asked him, we thought we were having a funeral this past weekend. And on Thursday and Friday, the pneumonia went away. They got rid of the fluid on the lungs, and they sent him home. The doctor says to me, this is probably one of the most strong men I've ever met. That said, very frail, very weak. We are fortunate enough to have unbelievable help. If it was this, if it was that, my expectations are very simple. Every day is a good day. That's how we're looking at it, as he is 93 and a half years old. We appreciate all the kind wishes. I must tell you, and I guess this is just part of life, the emotions that I am going through is all over the freaking map, in that, boy, he's 93 and a half. Wow, what a success. But then, boy, any day, any week, any month. It's kind of like what we said about our mom, that we were so heartbroken when on Thanksgiving night she passed away, but at the same time relieved because of what she was going through towards the end. My father is not in that realm, but not great. So every day's a great day. And I sat with him this weekend. I had bought 2 Archie Bunker chairs that have massage and heat and really soft. My father can't thank me enough. And we just sat and watched some basketball and some politics. And I didn't want his blood pressure going up, so I turned off the politics. And watched, just so you know, they have a channel up in New York that has the old Superman. The old Superman. I watched 4 of those. George Reeves is the guy's name, I believe. That was like ages ago. Let's move forward. Well, let me just say this. The Dow was down 971, almost a win. I'll explain. The S&P down 124, almost a win. The NASDAQ down a juicy 415, almost a win. The NASDAQ 100 down 450, almost a win. Transports 272 to the downside, almost a win. The SOX down 80, almost a win. Advanced decline sucked. The exact opposite of what we saw on Thursday when we had a good advanced decline day. I'm going to talk a little bit about the dollar. Our dollar against other currencies are swooning. Interest rates, oh boy, I'm taking on Trump today. Hope you don't mind. Just remember, we've been right, he's been wrong. Is that okay? Is it okay we've been 100% right about tariffs and he's been wrong? Defined by what, about $9 trillion of wealth lost in the markets? We'll get to that too. Anyway, we're saying almost a win because the Dow today, at one time, 37,830, 340, was down 1,300. Still finished down 970, which is not good news. The S&P at one time today, 57, was down about 180, finished down 124. Again, was not that good news. Great. NASDAQ at one time today, 15,685, damn, was down 600. Finished down 415. I don't need to do any others. I'm going to say some very strong and stiff statements based on the fact we warned you. Not about the markets. We'll get to that in a bit. But about the tariffs. What most people don't understand, and I'm speaking to the people that think somebody cannot do anything wrong. And we've always one of the things I taught my kids, you're most vulnerable when you think you can never be wrong. So you got the president who won the election, and he thinks he's never wrong. And even today said tariffs are doing great. Yeah, sure, right. 3 things. 1, they're not telling the truth about the tariffs. The tariffs are paid by us, not China. Number 2, I keep getting asked, well, then why is everybody else doing tariffs? Well, maybe the fact that we were doing less tariffs is because we're smart. When they put tariffs on us, they're hurting themselves. And why do you think the president completely backed away from all those tariffs on all those countries and the 145% on China? And now they're cutting deals left and right where they're not cutting deals. So we were right about that. The markets have lost a ton, but there's more than that at this moment. Listen carefully. Confidence in this country, trust in this country. You can look to a couple of things, and that is our dollar against all the other currencies and our bond market. Our currency's getting hit hard. Now, I must tell you, not necessarily the end of the world unless it continues. That's number 1. Number 2, there has been no bigger critic of Jay Powell than I. There's nobody who's been a bigger critic. I started on him Christmas Eve 2018 when he went from raising rates to not because the markets were down. We ripped him about the $9 trillion printed money because of COVID, causing all kinds of crazy dislocations, distortions, and the massive inflation. No louder voice than us. But Trump is 1,000% wrong right now on Jay Powell. Not about firing him. I think Jay Powell should have been fired years ago. But on what should be done. We've tried to explain to you, and it's not easy to explain, that there is the Fed funds rate, that's Jay Powell. He moves those up and down based on whatever they decide they're seeing. The Fed funds rates is simply what banks charge to each other and lend to each other. And it kind of sets what is known as monetary policy on whether they're easy or tight. But we have told you 1,000 times, watch the 10-year yield. Screw the Fed funds rate. Jay Powell only mattered a crap load when he was printing to $9 trillion and created all that crazy, including the froth and the speculation. But there's something happening right now that President Trump just doesn't understand. He is now out loud calling for the firing of Jay Powell. He called him a big loser today, which number 1 is a mistake. The president should not call what's arguably the first or second most important money man in the world a big loser. That's confidence, intangible. But he's calling for Jay Powell to lower interest rates, his Fed funds rate. Here's the problem. When Jay Powell lowered his Fed funds rates from 5.25% to 4.25%, the most important rate, free markets, the 10-year yield, spiked. Why would that happen? Well, if the market believes they're no longer fighting inflation and there's some incipient, notice the big word inflation, interest rates will go higher on the long end, give the middle finger to Fed funds rates, and there goes mortgages and all kinds of other crap. The president doesn't understand this. And I'm amazed his advisors do not understand this. The president can have Jay Powell lower rates today and rates go higher. Up next, I'll expound. Another big word. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Hi, I'm Gary Kaltbaum, host of the nationally syndicated radio show Investor's Edge. We're not just handsome radio people. We manage investors' money for a living, specializing in fee-based discretionary money management. No big commissions, just a fee on the assets that's managed. We also provide a full range of personalized services, including retirement planning, fixed income, and educational needs, all to assist you in achieving your financial goals. Understanding not all individuals have the same needs, we'll carefully evaluate your personal goals to determine a proper investment strategy. If your current approach to investing is not getting you to where you would like to be, call us to make an appointment for a complimentary portfolio review. The number to call is 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. Investment advisory services offered through Kaltbaum Capital Management.
It's time to switch on the integrator units and get the brain cells working.
You're listening to
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Investor's Edge
The last bastion of quality programming.
with Gary Kaltbaum.
It doesn't get better than this.
I've been a little remiss. Actually, it's a lot remiss. The first thing I should have come out with today is in respect those Christianity. Pope Francis passed away at the age of 88. He was very ill. Amazingly, he was out yesterday, out there. But he was very ill, and he passed away. We're being told he had a stroke overnight. May he rest in peace. He was the first Latin American pontiff. And very one of the humble. I don't want to get into the politics of it. The man passed away. Who cares? But he died of a stroke, put him in a coma, and led to heart failure. Very humble guy. It is well known that he used to, as Pope, would wash the feet of others. Wow. Anyway, should have mentioned that right off the get-go. My bad. Okay, so President of the United States, our president, has no clue about the bond market. I cannot believe his Treasury Secretary has no clue either. He should be in his ear right now. Hey, President Trump, if he lowers the Fed funds rates, that may force the 10-year yield higher because here's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. Because of the tariffs, and not just the tariffs, but the inconsistency on the tariffs, the ever-changing of the tariffs, I mean, by the hour, the changes of stance, the making everybody else the enemy, saying out loud, this is our president, that they are all kissing my ass. He's saying the leaders of other countries are kissing my, I only say it once, they are kissing my butt. What do you think those leaders, most of them elected, I gather, there's a couple that weren't. What do you think those leaders have in common with President Trump? Well, they think highly of themselves, don't they? They have big egos, right? And I don't say that as a pejorative. Another big word from Gary today. Do you realize that he's saying that of other leaders of other countries? And do you realize we've cut absolutely no deals, even though this administration keeps coming out, oh, we got 15, we got 20, we got 50, we got 70. They're all calling us. And do you realize that maybe it gets better tomorrow? Mexico says, no, we're not giving into that. Japan said, we're not giving into that. The total mishandling. I keep hearing the art of the deal and the greatest negotiator. It is just a complete mishandling of this whole thing. Not just that the tariffs are bad. And what is happening? Listen carefully. Because if it continues bad, if it gets better, we'll let you know. Not only is our dollar getting squashed versus other currencies, making it more expensive if you want to go visit the other places, but they're selling off our bonds while we have the idea that inflation is better. Why would interest rates spike up? Why would they be selling bonds? It's because there is now a clear lack of trust of the people running our country. And anybody who disagrees with me is just in the tank, because we are just telling you facts. And it worsens when you are the president and you call the head of the central bank a big loser. I can say that. I'm nobody. Not the president. And when you call for lowering rates, they see like you're making people into the fall guy. Do you know what kind of emails I am getting right now? I'm getting a ton of emails from people who love Trump saying they hope he resigns. I'm not making this up. I want this guy to do great things, and we told you from the get-go what he should do is come in, make the tax cuts permanent, close the border, and then fix up immigration, making it less onerous to become a citizen, cut the size of government, fight crime, and get the hell out of the way. No. Tell everybody they're the enemy and they're screwing us, and that we're changing everything on trade while business is trying to do business. And on Monday you say one thing, on Tuesday you say another, on Wednesday you say another, on Thursday you say another. Business, I'm hearing from all avenues of business now of uncertainty and slowing down. Microsoft data centers, Amazon on Amazon Web Services. Those are the big ones. Forget the small ones. Travel to the United States is way down because people are afraid to come here because how they've messaged the immigration thing, where they did a marvelous job on the border. But the rest of it, an administration has to be able to convey. People in other countries think if they come here as tourists, they're going to get locked up. I'm not making this up. Go look it up yourself. Don't even believe a word I say. That hurts the economy. The number recently was 70%. Canadian flights to here. They canceled flights. They just got rid of it because of how lesser people are coming over here. This has all got to change. There are countries that are our enemies. Russia is an enemy. Iran is an enemy. The Taliban is our enemy. The European Union is not our enemy. The United Kingdom is not our enemy. Japan is not our enemy. Israel is not our enemy. Vietnam and Taiwan, they're not our enemy. But that's what they're saying. And they're using different language. But any way you put it, you're saying they're screwing us. And I got news for you. As I have told you, if we have a trade deficit with somebody a lot smaller than us, because we're big. And if you want to fix things and you're the greatest negotiator of all time, sit down with them. Don't stop commerce. You know what the president's going to have to do now? Instill trust back into his administration. That's not easy. Up next, we'll put a bow tie on it, talk the rest of the markets. I got a few other tidbits. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Listening to
America is talking.
Investor's Edge.
He's got to be pleased with that. The crowd is just on its feet here. He's a Cinderella boy.
With Gary Kaltbaum.
Comes highly recommended. You're going to feel better if you talk to him.
So, back on the trust part. Forget every word I have said to you. Go look at a chart of the bond market and the dollar. You don't need me to say anything. I'm a nothing. I'm a nobody. What have I always said to you about the market? It's got big ears and a loud voice. And sometimes the ears are really big and open wide, and sometimes the mouth is screaming. Go look at the bond market, go look at a chart of yields, and go look at the dollar versus other currencies. Today's drop in the market was onefold. Trust/confidence in what's emanating from here. And once you lose that trust, not from the MAGA crowd, I gather they still love them, but we're talking the markets. And now, unfortunately, the minions that are in the tank are joining with Trump on Powell. Little do they know Powell's saving his butt. What, you're going to drop Fed funds rates from 4.25 down to 4? Whoopee, what is that going to do? The 3 3/4, what is that going to do? Because if in turn the 10-year yield goes up, that's your mortgages. Now, if Trump wants them to print money again, that may have a good effect near term, but here comes the inflation again. How'd you like that inflation? Was that good for you? I try to reach out to this administration. My own dime run down to Mar-a-Lago, but even if I got there, I don't think he'd listen to a word I'd say. All I know is we were down another 971 Dow points, 415 NASDAQ points, 450 NASDAQ 100 points, 272 transport points. Advanced declines were terrible again. And in many of the big indices, we're in the middle to the low end of the day he put on the pause of the tariffs. Whoa. Remember that day? Do you know on that day, the NASDAQ, once it was announced, went from 15,270 to 17,202, 2,000 points before you can blink. We're way down now. Picking all that up, even though we're still on pause. The S&P is way down from that day. So all we can tell you by the book, BY the book, every major index is below the declining 50-day moving average, which most of them now below the 200-day. They call that the death cross. New yearly highs, hardly any. Today they got the things that were holding up best. I got to tell you, you know what was holding up best? Defensive issues. They got them today. Do you know why they got them today? Because they were sticking up. That's why. Because eventually they get them all. Some of the strong growth names like Spotify, DoorDash, down big. CrowdStrike, Mercado Libre, down big. How about Costco that was trying? Getting whacked. T-Mobile, phone company, hit hard. These were holding up pretty darn well. They were getting everything today. The drug stocks they got today. They even hit the garbage collectors, the waste management companies. What was up today? Gold. Why in gold? Get me the hell out. Gold stocks, though, be careful about them here because they are stocks. And as I go through my scans and go through my screens, it was just a sea of yuck. A little better by the close. I got to tell you, the SOX today was down 80. But I will tell you, at one time today, 150. And I got to tell you, a lot of the get back was in the last hour. I wish I had better things to say. I would love to come on here and just compliment the hell out of him, which I have done. I couldn't be happier what he did at the border, the president. Saved lives. What a great thing to do. He's saving lives at the border. Love the backing of Israel and the students at these moronic colleges. Love that he wants to fight crime, though I'm pissed off what he did with J6, a blanket pardon. So I'm not 100% there. Love that he wants to make permanent the tax cuts, but now we're hearing from him consideration of raising taxes on the wealthy. I'm like, wait a minute, we could have got that from Kamala Harris. So we wish him well. We hope he does right things, but right now, the markets themselves don't trust. By selling off our bonds and selling off our dollar versus other currencies. And if that continues, the markets will continue to swoon. Simple as that. And I got news for you. This so far, well, for some things it's more than garden variety, but for the big indices, it's garden variety. What if it turns into something worse? Now the Russell 2000 is 2466, 1840. Let's call that 600. That's about 24-25% on the Russell. That's garden variety. 2008 was 56% for everything. We don't want that. He's got to get rid of these tariffs. It's a must. Just get rid of them. Just get rid of them. You don't have to say you were wrong. You don't have to say you made a mistake. Just get rid of them. We decided to negotiate in good faith with everybody and see how it goes. That's all. And let me add one other thing. Any deals that get cut, they're going to sell them as the end-all be-all, but I got news for you. We already have deals with most everybody. And as I have said to you, they have oversold everybody cheating us. You know how we complain about the Dems? That they've used climate change, the scam, the con? They're overselling trade deals and the tariffs and what needs to be done. It's oversold, and the markets know it. They've got to get away from this. Now, as far as markets, what else would we worry about recently besides just totally breaking down everything? We've had froth. Newsmax IPO at $10 opens at 14, goes to 265 in a day and a half. It's back to 21. We don't want to see froth like that. They had this other one, Webull. It was a SPAC. Went from 10 to 80 in a day. It's back to 24. We don't want to see that. We don't want froth. Froth usually happens at tops, not bottoms. Froth doesn't usually happen after markets crumble, but we're getting it. That's not good. That's market talk. And as far as, I got about 85 to 90% of stocks in downtrends of different bearish phases, bear markets, whatever you want to call it, some deep bear markets. The AI trade remains dead. The AI trade's dead. Worsened today. Not at recent lows, but just major stiff downtrends. And now we're hearing of slowdowns on the data centers and things like that. NVIDIA, off talked about, back down to 96 and change, almost 97. Bear market. And that's the head honcho, top dog, big cheese. How about like a Meta? That was part of the AI, right? Do you know Meta is at a relative low? Even from the move off the lows recently, the crash lows, it's back there. That is what we call weak as all heck. So I don't have anything really great to report to you. Gold. Bitcoin was up today. On its way to 1.5 million. That was sarcasm. And they hit most everything today. I see some China stocks green. I see a couple of semis green. I see the Dollar General, Dollar Tree. We've been talking about the dollar stores, very defensive. But mostly a sea of red. Up next. Yeah, I'll get this, that, and the other thing. This is the one only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to...
What are we waiting for?
Well, what are you waiting for? 1, 2, ready, go.
Action!
Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum.
But you know what my biggest complaint of the day is, right? The last match of the second day of WrestleMania. I don't understand. They've been writing some great storylines that have been keeping us riveted. You got me on that one. That's all I got to say. And hopefully they remedy it in short order. Of course, I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but Cody Rhodes did lose his championship to John Cena, who has now supposedly the record of 17 world championships, even though I believe Ric Flair had like 21. But that's okay. The way they did it was not happy. They've been doing some great writing. That was pretty bad. But there were some great matches. And I would have been there if not. I was with my dad. And we'll see what Monday Night Raw brings tonight. I expect some remedying it. A few other things to bring up. Just so you know, every day I try to get bullish. But things have to line up to get bullish. And I can tell you as I look at my left screen and see 90% of the stocks red with a ton of stocks just absolutely blasted and economically sensitive in the software and internet and AI and all that crap, but gold's up. You can't get bullish. When I look at my middle screen, which are the oils, forget about it. The auto dealers, forget about it. Eli Lilly was up on drug news last week, down 21 today. McKesson, one of the strong drug companies, down 14. Retail, Forget about it. Costco down 36. I can go on. Burlington down 9 today. Then I look at the medical smacked. Then I look at the transports down 272. And of course, they've been in steep downtrends. And that's the rails and the truckers and FedEx and UPS and the travel related, like the hotels and the cruise lines and the airlines. And then I look at the hospital stocks getting crushed today. I haven't seen any news on that. And then I look at insurance stocks today that were just bludgeoned, and they were holding up pretty well. And then I look at the next column of economically sensitive names like Parker Hannifin, like Snap-on Tools, like Sherwin-Williams and United Rentals, just crushed today. I can't get bullish. And then I go to the financial column and see BlackRock down 21. Blackstone, a not unimportant name, back at lows of the crash, that 2-day meltdown, gives us pause. And Goldman down 9. And Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett, that the stock's been strong, down 11 today. No fun. And then I look at Apple down 4, Broadcom down 5, Amazon down 5, Adobe down 9, Salesforce.com down 11, Dell, Google, Microsoft down 9, Meta down 17, Nvidia almost 5, Oracle 5, SAP, which had been strong, down 7, Tesla down 14. I believe they report numbers tomorrow. And remember what we warned you about Tesla. All I've been hearing from people that are bullish on Tesla, robo-taxis and this, that, and the other thing going forward, they don't mention they're selling a lot less cars around the globe than they used to on a year-to-year basis, which, guess what, is not what I would call the death knell, but it ain't going to help a stock. And I could tell you that if Tesla breaks below 214, not good. They'll report tomorrow. Then I doubt the numbers are going to be good, but they'll talk up a good game. And I'm pretty sure we're going to hear that Elon Musk is leaving Doge and he'll be right back at the company. But we already heard that. And the stock popped for a day and they brought it right back down. And then I look at the Dow and see, Nike was up 36 cents, but every other Dow stock was down. And United Health, which is the most important name because of price, down another $29 today after getting trashed on Thursday, for 100 and some odd bucks? It was like 800 Dow points on their bad guidance going forward. So I can't get bullish. And in the Dow, American Express, an important financial name, down 9. Can't get bullish. Home Depot, down 8. Can't get bullish. And the list goes on and on. We know what good charts look like. We know what good patterns look like. We know what bottoms look like. We know what tops look like. We know what uptrends look like. We know what downtrends look like. And I can tell you, lack of uptrends, a hell of a lot of downtrends. And until that changes, that's how we roll. As we try to get bullish every day. And of course, as I mentioned, price is going into that pause day where we had the big rally. Calling into question, is this more than just tariffs? Froth recently calls into question. So a lot of things going on, but we do know one thing. We do not buy stocks in deep downtrends, and when everything's in deep downtrends, we are going to be on the outside looking in. Simple as that. And when things change, I will yell and scream at you. I will let you know. Netflix was up $14 today on its earnings. Was up 40 at one time. Because I'm not so sure too much is going to get the heck out of here to the upside when the market has a mallet overhead. Now we're going to have thousands of earnings reports in the next few weeks. It gets real hefty this week, like tomorrow's 3M in the Dow, GE, Lockheed Martin, Verizon in the Dow, SAP this week, Capital One Financial, Boeing in the... I could give you a big list. We will pay attention to every one of them and what they say. The question is going to be, is there going to be a lot of guidance worry on tariffs and uncertainty? We're thinking we may hear a lot of that from the chieftains of corporate America. And I got news for you. Normally we'd make fun of that. Right now, I think rightfully so. Rightfully so. We're hearing from restaurants about having to raise prices because of issues. Stay tuned. We'll be on it. We're wishing the president well. We're behind him 1,000%, but got to change the stripes. You have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. I'm out of here. Good night, all. Bye-bye.
This has been Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum on BizTalk. To listen to past episodes or to get in contact with Gary, go to GaryK.com. That's GaryK.com.